Hello, it's Abby again of Abby Tells Pet Services. This time recording in my bedroom with a cup of tea. There is chocolate over there also. And I've been napping. I'm not walking or training today face to face. There's a few online consultations today, but my day of work is over. I've walked my girls, I've trained my girls, and I've been chilling and making the most of having the house to myself because my partner is working out the house today. And I got the urge to do a video. I do my best to do a weekly video, and this just came to me. This isn't planned, but I just wanted, I've seen a lot of people post things on dog pages and also message me about these particular things. And there seems to be things about it in the news as well. How to deal with and how to make the best of lockdown. Now, I think I've already touched on this in my live Q&As and a few little bits here and there in my other videos where I've been focusing on specific training and behaviour topics. But I just wanted to give a little bit of an overview just to help those people feel a little bit calmer about what's going on right now. Yes, we're on the stay alert now, not stay safe and stay in all the time. We won't go into the specifics of that because that's not why I'm here. But yes, we can take our dogs out as many times as we want to. Fabulous, great. That's fine. If you want to take your dog out once, if you want to take them multiple times, be careful of their age. Puppies do not need to go out loads and loads of times a day, walking wise. I mean, toilet, yes. And remember, keep it in small increments depending on their age and their breed. And also older dogs as well. And with the heat, I mean, today we don't have to worry about this. Today is Thursday. I don't even know the date, to be honest. That's the benefit of lockdown, isn't it? When is it? The 4th of June. I have bedhead. I don't care. It's lockdown. I thought I'd be quite real with you. So, with lockdown. Yes, we can walk as many times as we want. That hasn't really changed the way I am with my girls that much. I don't walk them every day, I'll be very honest with you. There are some days and some weeks where I walk them every day, but I don't walk them every single day. If I'm not feeling great, if they're not listening to me, and they are fabulous, I have to say, but if they're not listening to me, or they decide they're going to make a bit of a fuss and a hullabaloo of going near the front door, which happens rather irregularly now, thank you. Thanks to being patient, using positive reinforcement and force-free methods. But obviously dogs are dogs, they're animals, they're not robots, so there's going to be things. So, and also if you're not in the right emotional state or physical state, you're not feeling very well, then it's not a good idea to take your dog out, because you can, everything in the house and the garden is increased and expanded on in the wide world on a walk. So if your dog is extremely manic in the house and then you decide to take them out for a walk, then that's not necessarily going to get any better. It's probably going to get worse. If the dog isn't listening to you in the house and the garden in general, or just for a particular day, you take them out on a walk, it's very likely they're going to listen to you even less. Also, so you have to make sure that there is trust, respect and a bond there, and an understanding with if there's any unwanted behaviour, then that could also lead to not going for a walk. And that's not cruel. I don't mean don't walk them for weeks on end. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, don't take out a puppy or a dog that has no idea what is expected of them and has no understanding of you as leader out on a walk, because you're going to have issues and they'll just be compounded and they'll become learnt behaviour. Feel free to comment or message me about that further if that relates to you and you're having issues. But what you can do, if you're not walking them, and if you are walking them, you can still do these things. So mental stimulation, yes, dogs get mental stimulation from walks. That's one of the most important reasons to walk a dog, not just the exercise, it's the mental stimulation. you can do this in the house, in the garden. If you don't have a large garden, which I don't have at the moment, we had to move due to COVID-19, as in lockdown and implications of that, not because any of us were affected physically by the virus. Businesses, yes, but physically and health-wise, no. So we're temporarily in Stourport, which is a beautiful little town in Worcestershire, and it's fabulous for dog walks and exploring in general, but we do have a much smaller garden, and that worried me at first, and I wouldn't choose to be in a smaller garden with two large breeds, but as it's temporary, then I have to make the most of it. So I work with them in the garden, in the house, and on walks. We also, thankfully, have an outdoor area, which is out the front, which is a shared area, but it's basically a car park shared in a little cul-de-sac. And when no one's out there, I'll use that area as a training area. And if people come by, I just call the dogs right to me and they stay there, and that's part of their training. So my neighbours know that everything's okay. There's not going to be a wild dog running all over the place. And people will judge on the size of dog, which can be frustrating. It hasn't happened with my neighbours. They're fabulous, and obviously I told them what I was going to be doing. It's also training for the dogs. They're learning with distractions, which they were doing already, but this is compounded. So they're learning even when there's children that come running out of gardens or cars coming past, albeit slowly because we're in a residential area. They still have to listen to me, and that's great, and that helps on the walk. They were pretty good at it anyway, but it's still keep going, keep training, because training is mental stimulation also, and training can be involved in play, just playing with your dog and just throwing in a few commands, because if you're playing with a ball or a tug of war toy or anything, you're going to want that thing in your possession at one point. You're not going to want the dog to have it all the time. So throwing in leave or leave it. I also have, on the other hand, take it. So they know it's all right to have it. You don't have to do that, but I think leave is quite important. You've also got recall, can be compounded all the time when you're playing, and also just in general to make sure that you're in control of the situation in a positive way. I don't mean berating the dog all the time and forcing yourself on them, because remember what I've said in other videos and in my Q&As, it's important in order to strengthen and also build a bond between you and your dog. One of the important factors is give your dog space. You don't want to be mollycoddling them, and I understand dogs are amazing, beautiful creatures, and you might just want to smush your face in their face, but most dogs, not all, most dogs don't like that, or they won't like that for a prolonged period of time. Obviously, you being the owner, they will want more, usually, interaction with you, and they'll have a higher tolerance of affection towards you than to other people. However, it shouldn't be forced. You don't want to push the boundaries, and it should be a two-way love, not just one way. Bearing in mind, if you put your face towards your dog, not only is your dog seeing your face and your eyes and your nose, they're seeing your teeth also. And especially with dogs that aren't used to you. I mean, I wouldn't put my face near a dog I didn't know. Anyway, that's just me. Then they're going to focus on these teeth, which is could be quite scary, especially if they don't know you, or if it's a small dog, or you're doing it quite quickly. So there's that. But also giving them space, and then you can bring in the recall command all the time, as it were, multiple times throughout the day, because attention should be on your terms. Yes, we want to give our dogs attention, we want to give them love. Quite a few dogs, not all, but quite a few dogs, they will want attention from you also. But it should be given in your terms, not on theirs. So if they come to you and start pawing at you and push their nose up in your arm, which is quite common behaviour, jump on you, scratch on you, bark at you, whine at you. Yes, some of these behaviours we kind of learned as a society, or thought of as a society, that these are cute behaviours, this is normal behaviour, and it is very common behaviour, but that doesn't mean that it's correct. because if they bark, whine, scratch, or God forbid even nip, and as a fully grown dog you don't want that, and puppies will nip because they're learning to test the boundaries, and we work with that obviously. Again, positive reinforcement and just ignoring unwanted behaviour and showing consequence of action through very short periods of isolation, but instead of shouting or smacking, or I don't condone that personally. Yes, those approaches may work, but you are teaching your dog through fear if you're doing that, instead of encouraging them to actually use their own self-initiative and self-control. Okay, they didn't like it very much when I nipped them or jumped up at them and I didn't get attention. Maybe I shouldn't do that again. It may take a few times. And then they go, oh, okay, so if I do that unwanted behaviour, again, nipping, barking at, jumping on, whatever, I'm going to get ignored or popped in another room. No force in here. But if I'm calm, and then whoever, human, owner, visitor, calls me over, I'm going to get fuss. Amazing. The dog understands what is expected of him or her and doesn't have the stress of needing to worry, oh my gosh, no one is really showing who is leader right now. Am I leader? What do I need to do as leader? And that can lead to nervous behaviour. It can lead to aggressive behaviour. It can lead to territorial, protective. Well, I can list everything. But that's not the thing here. So the issue is, not the issue, but the point is giving your pup dog space. I say pup quite a lot, even when I'm referring to adult dogs. It's just a thing of mine. So, as well as referring to puppies. So yes, giving them space. So even in lockdown, you're going to be with your dog a lot more than they're necessarily used to. I've had a lot of my clients, both my training and my walking clients, say either my dog is adoring this, but actually now they've kind of become a bit of a limpet and we're having separation anxiety issues, or we're worried we're going to have those issues when we go back to work, or my dog seems a bit annoyed that I'm here all the time. It's almost expecting me to leave. Is this normal? What can I do? So, with the separation anxiety, just getting them used to being left, either if they aren't used to being left because you got them as a pup just before or during lockdown, getting them used to incrementally to being left. So literally just leaving the room, shutting the door, coming straight back in and ignoring them, so that they see that nothing is untoward with this behaviour. You're going to be coming back. And then when they're used to that, use your own kind of judgment in regards to how many times you should be doing that. Again, you are very welcome to message me about this. Then you can progress to leaving it for a few seconds, a minute, a few minutes. And then you can go from there. So then when you leave for a few hours, I personally wouldn't suggest more than 5, 6 at a massive push, but not regularly. That's me. Because that's a long time, even for an adult dog. But that's by the by. Then they know that you're coming back. There's nothing to be worried about. And when you return to a room, when you're getting them used to this, to being left for a few minutes, or when you return from home, from going to the shops, not work at the moment, I presume, maybe some of you, don't make a fuss of them, ignore them, just for a few seconds. I mean, as they get used to this, you may need to ignore them for a few minutes until they calm down and just go, okay, I'm either going to sit or I'm going to lie down. Don't tell them to do this. They're just going to take themselves away in the same room or maybe another room, whatever they're comfortable with. And as soon as they are calm, and if they kind of do a bit of a huff, it's kind of a signal of, oh, I give up. They're not going to give me attention that I'm wanting right now. That's fine. Then when they're calm, then you can call them to you again. You're reinforcing the recall command, which is fab with puppies, because you're wanting to reinforce all of this, all of these commands that you're going to be using. as they get older. And also with adult dogs too, I still reinforce with my pups, dogs. So then you can call them to you, then they get fussed, so they learn, okay, so when someone comes through the door, whether that be my owner or visitors, I don't need to jump on them to get attention. I just need to be calm, and then I'll be called over, and then I'll get attention. So it's all in the human's terms. Usually, obviously, the focus is the owner, but it's all in the person's terms, not the dog. So the dog is not in control of the situation. So the dog is not in control of the owner, so the leader, and the dog is not in control of visitors. We want it so that the dog is nice and calm, safe, content, is at the bottom of the pack, as it were. And that's not me saying, oh my gosh, dogs, they're at the bottom. It's dogs are dogs, they're amazing, but in order for them to feel safe, secure and happy, content, and for us to feel safe, secure, happy and content, and not embarrassed or worried about how other people will perceive our dog jumping on visitors or people outside, or barking or whatever, they need to understand that they are at the bottom of the pack, because then it's much less likely, well, actually, if they're at the bottom and they understand what is expected of them, then they won't feel the need to be protective. There won't be separation anxiety, territorial, things like that. So yes, obviously there are individual cases, and there are small minute things that we may think are minute that will change a dog's behaviour or perspective. So this is why I say, when you've got a particular instance with your own dog, please feel free. These videos are a guide, but please feel free to comment or to message me about your own situation, so that I can get a better idea of what's going on, because obviously we all live differently, as it were. We live in houses, flats, some of us have big gardens, some of us have small, and we all behave differently, we all have different routines, so it's taken on a case-by-case basis. Someone's ringing me. They will have to wait. There we go. So going back to mental stimulation, you can hide toys, treats. If you're watching their weight, you can hide part of their meal. So you can pop things in the garden. You can add commands to that, so teaching them to seek and find, or you can kind of just let them find them in their own way when you're not in the garden. It's up to you what you want to do for that. With the hot weather, I know it's not very hot today, thankfully, it's quite a nice change, but when it is hot, or even when it's not hot, but hot is usually better for this, well, for me, for my benefit, but most dogs quite like playing in water, even when it's cold. So if you have a dog pool or a plastic pool, I wouldn't recommend one of those inflatable pools, as in a human paddling pool, because claws can break these things, but whatever you want to do, or even a washing up bowl, if you don't have any of those things, or if you have a very small pup, a very small dog, and you would rather keep it to just a small area, fill that with water, pop toys in there. You can pop all sorts of things. Dogs like carrots and dogs like apples. Anything you want to check that pop in there that's edible. Just double check, if you don't know already, that the food is okay for dogs and not poisonous. So for example, grapes are a no-no. Not that you would throw onion into water for a game, one would hope. Onion is a no-no. Obviously chocolate is a no-no. There are other things as well, so just be careful there. But you can almost do like an apple bobbing scenario that some of us will have done as children, where you stick your face in and you can only get the apple with your mouth, not with your hands. So you can kind of get that kind of mental stimulation with the dogs. If you've got just a small body of water in a washing up bowl, there's more likely that they will just use their mouth. But if you're Nelly, my small Rottie, whatever the space, she will pop her paw in, and it's all different. Even if they don't get it, it's still mental stimulation. and encouraging them. You can also use this particular game, as it were, to get dogs used to water. Don't force them. That's never good. Same as children. But I have more experience with dogs, not children. That's what we're going to focus on. But you don't just want to throw a pup or a dog in a pool or in a river or in a body of water, because that can freak them out and it can impact them negatively for a long period of time, or even for the whole of their life when it comes to water or anything really. We do have to be careful. Dogs are very sensitive. Some dogs more so than others, but we have to bear that in mind. So yes, mental stimulation using water play. Some dogs like hose pipes, some dogs don't. If you do have the hose pipe, some dogs love to just eat water, as it were. It's gushes out through the hose pipe or watering can or whatever. Apple bobbing, whether that be with toys, actual apples, careful of the pips and the stalk, take those out. Or just chunks of carrot, that's easier. Or just ice cubes. Nellie loves ice cubes. Xena not so much. She actually wants to grab something that's actually tasty for her, or a toy that she likes. Like I said, you can hide things in the garden, in the house, and then work on adding a few new commands in training. Whether that be working on the basics, if they don't already know the basics. So heel, recall, sit, down, stay, and wait are all extremely helpful, and I use on a day-to-day basis with my own and with my clients' dogs, both those that I walk and those that I train. So, but then you can also, if they already know these, you can add in different commands just to spice things up a little bit. If you want to teach them how to roll over, or play dead, or freeze on the spot, or speak, whisper, all these things, you don't have to teach them, but it's mental stimulation, and by giving them something to do, something to think about, that's great, awesome. That also, that time spent with you one-on-one, where they're with you all the time, as it were, physically and mentally, because they're following what you're asking of them. It may take a little while, but there, that's working and increasing the bond between you two also. And if you can't take them for a walk for any reason, doing training sessions will tucker out their brain. Yes, physical exercise is important. Like I said, I'm not advocating not walking them for weeks on end. That's not what I'm saying. But I know we've kind of gone through the phase. We've gone past the stage of only being allowed out once a day. But I was saying in my Q&As and to clients who were asking, it's okay to just walk them once a day, because you can do other things with them. And preparing them for a walk, if they're not walking with you already because they're a puppy or they're a rescue dog that's getting used to you, then you can get them used to what is expected of them, get them used to your voice, get them used to certain commands that you're going to be using on a walk. So heel, recall. I use whistle training because I find it extremely helpful. Very welcome to message me about that if you'd like, or comment. Wait and stay are also helpful. And leave on walks, for food that you don't want them to get, or litter or whatever. Although I did see a dog yesterday. I was out talking to my friend on the phone, and I just went for a little walk by myself, and I saw a dog litter picking with Zona supervising. It was fabulous. It was not fabulous that there was litter there anyway, but it was awesome. And I'm pretty sure the dog was just picking up plastic bottles, and the owner was making sure that everything was safe for the dog. But still, that was great. So if you want to do that, great, but be aware, obviously, of the potential dangers. But yeah, so mental stimulation, giving them space, so balancing that out, getting them used to being left alone, even for a few seconds, minutes at a time. Walking, yes, when they're ready, when you're ready, yeah, just being at one and being comfortable with your dog. You don't have to be doing things with them all the time. Obviously, there are certain dogs, and that can be due to their personality as well as their breed, that will enjoy being active and doing things, and learning things and having a job. Whether that job is doing agility, actually being a working dog, so a herding dog, a protection dog, a guard dog, all sorts of, there are multiple jobs for dogs, aren't there? They're amazing creatures. But that job can also be the training session that you do, and the mental stimulation of getting them to find something, things like this. So giving them a job to do makes them work for something. It is a teaching opportunity, like I said, increasing the bond, and yeah, it just makes their brain work. So those are the things. I'm going to end it there. Any questions, please let me know, whether that be on this video or videos you've seen previously. My Q&As, which are now every Sunday at 4 o'clock. They're live on Facebook, on Abby Tales Pet Services Facebook business page. Videos are on here, on my YouTube channel, and on my website, again, Abby Tales Pet Services, which you can get to if you click on my banner, my YouTube banner. That takes you straight there. And yes, have a fabulous Thursday. Keep safe, keep sane, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.